my SUV and I hate going to the gas station. I know I'm not alone, and that is why so many manufacturers have introduced something like this. This is a plug-in electric hybrid full-size SUV. This is the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe. So you plug it in for 25 miles of range. It has a hybrid engine that one charge and the full tank of gas will go over 400 miles, which is about 100 miles further than the gas engine will. It's faster, it has more power, and here's the coolest thing about it. 25 miles of charge, if you plug it in every day, you could actually go weeks and weeks between fill-ups. If you're only driving 20 or 30 miles a day, you're rarely going to use gas if you plug it in every day. It's just those long trips where you need to fill it up and use a full tank of gas. Right now, that's something that makes me very happy. We took a test drive out here in Llano, Texas. We went over big hills and rocks and things that look like that. And I have to tell you, it was pretty crazy. It was impressive how the Jeep handled it. Here's what we learned on our test drive. Cherokee 4xe is still just a Grand Cherokee. I shouldn't say just, because it's really a pretty good SUV. There are a few telltale signs like these blue tow hooks, or actually recovery hooks. You can tow something up to 10,000 pounds. So somebody else is stuck in the snow or stuck in the mud, you can pull them out. We drove this up and down a big boulder, all rock. There was no perceivable trail ahead of us, and we were able to master that, just like in the Wrangler. Also, just like the Wrangler, is the engine in this car. So it's the same plug-in hybrid electric system that the Wrangler 4xe uses. It is more powerful than the V8 that it replaces in the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and that's pretty impressive. So how do you charge the Grand Cherokee 4xe? Well, you'll see this blue E here on the charge door. You just push it when the car is unlocked. And here is your level 1 or level 2 charger charge port. It can't charge with level 3. The battery just isn't big enough to withstand that amount of power. But level 1, which is a standard household outlet, you can plug it in. It will charge overnight at about 11.5 hours. Level 2, it will charge in about 2.5 hours, and that's basically a household dryer outlet style plug. You can have either of those put in your garage pretty easily, not super expensive, and 25 miles a day of all electric driving. Also on the exterior, you'll see a trail rated badge here. There are skid plates. There is the 4-wheel drive system, air suspension, so you can see the car will raise or lower based on what you need. And then it's very subtle, but the Grand Cherokee logo has blue trimming around it. And then here, of course, is the American flag. You can tell we went off-roading in this. It is covered in dirt. That's what this car is supposed to do. A couple of other details, the 4xe, which you'll see right here. The Overland badge, whichever trim you buy, you'll see that badged here. So Trailhawk, Overland, or Summit will be badged right here. And then in the interior, it's the same old Jeep that we know and love. It's got a huge cargo floor. You can put quite a lot of stuff here. It has a spare tire, and then there is room for tailgating. After a very long, very hot day of off-roading, I'm dusty, I'm dirty, and I overheated, but it sure feels nice to hop into this car and soak in the luxury of this beautiful interior, all of the great amenities. The interior of the Jeep Grand Cherokee has 3 screens. There is the driver information screen, there is the multimedia screen, which is totally customizable. And then there is, push this button, and you have a passenger side screen that allows your front seat passenger to help with navigation, help children in the rear use their entertainment screens, or you might be fighting for the passenger seat, so you can sit there and stream your favorite shows from your phone while somebody else does the driving. The center console has command buttons up here for your driver assist features. Park Sense is there. which I just turned off. Lane keep assist. There is the passenger side screen. Here is your regenerative braking function. The media screen here. Don't forget these. This is one of my favorite features right here. Massaging seats. Tap it on, and there is your massaging seat. That's pretty nice. There are climate controls here. Wireless charge pad, 4 USB ports, the HDMI port, which you will need to stream to the passenger side screen. And then of course, there is the 12 volts for an adapter. But I like this wireless charge pad because I can just drop my phone there and it charges while I'm driving. There is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is a nice feature. You can and you're offered the opportunity to use CarPlay wirelessly or with the USB. The command center here has your off-road settings, so you just tap this to go into the setting that you want. Here is your 4-wheel low. Here is your downhill descent control. So when you are driving down a hill, and this is really especially great for off-roading, if you're driving down a hill, this will regulate your speed. And then this one doesn't have it, but many of them have a sway bar control here. You can also adjust the height of the vehicle here. So if you are rock crawling, if you're going over rocks and you want that highest ground clearance, it will set automatically, but you can also set this yourself. So you could be in auto and you can set whatever vehicle height you would like. There are 2 cup holders here, and then there is this armrest with lots of space. There's a deep well there, and then a tray for things here, and a beautiful leather cover for comfort. So head-up display, which you can see right there. You can see head-up display there, and there's our navigation. And if we were on the road, we would see the speed limit sign. And so that HDMI is what you would use to connect your phone to this screen here. Notice that from the driver's seat, I cannot see what's on that screen, but that screen is on.
It's on.
Yeah, so.
I promise.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, so now you can see what's on that screen if you're sitting in that seat, but not if you're sitting in this seat, which is pretty cool. Can I connect my phone using one of the USB ports, or do I have to use the HDMI?
You would use the HDMI port to connect your phone. The USB ports you would use if you had a file, like a file on your phone, like a video file.
Okay, so if I have downloaded a video, I would use the USB, but to stream essentially from my phone, I would use the HDMI.
Yeah. It's just like hooking it up to a second monitor.
That's really great. And the button to turn it on, right there. There we go, night vision. Okay, I've got to go find a parking garage so I can demonstrate this. That's so cool. Oh wait, look at that. So even though it's bright daylight outside, you can see these cars, and wait, somebody's going to walk in front of us. Yep, there he is. So if he was walking by and it was dark out, I would still see him and he would look like that, right?
Yeah, and actually what's really cool, I was driving one of these in the city, and again, if it was at night, it can detect people and animals, and actually it'll put a yellow box around them.
Oh yeah.
So it'll actually highlight to you some of those things, which is great, especially if you're driving in a city at night or something like that. There's people walking.
That's cool. How does the hybrid electric system work in the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe? Well, over here to the left of the steering wheel is your hybrid electric control panel. So right now we're in hybrid, and hybrid will use the hybrid motor, which is a gas-driven motor, and then we'll also assist with electric power as needed, as it makes sense. So when it decides that that's the right thing to do to give you more gas mileage, better fuel economy, it will combine the two. You can put it in all electric if you want, and the system will drive only on battery power. But if you'd like to use your battery power for another time, say driving quietly around your neighborhood or off-roading in totally silent mode, you can tap eSave. And eSave will only use gas on the hybrid motor, and then it will not use the electric at all. Another thing you need to know is this button. This is the regenerative braking button. When you tap this button on, your regenerative braking is on. And what that means is when you let your foot off the accelerator, so not hitting the brake, but just letting off the accelerator, you will actually regenerate the battery power to the car. So we drove this car yesterday all the way to 0 battery power. And by using regenerative braking, we regained 12%. You're not going to get all of your 25 miles back with regenerative braking, but you may end up getting 30 miles or so rather than the 25 that Jeep says you'll get from a charge. And that's a pretty nice detail. The regenerative braking system is great for recouping power and actually adding to your battery range when you're doing two things. One is driving downhill. So when you're driving down a hill and as you let your foot off the accelerator to slow the car, you're actually regenerating the battery. If you drive down a significantly high hill, a high elevation, you could actually add 50% or more back to the battery. It's very typical to gain as many miles going downhill as you used going up a hill. The other way that you can regenerate battery power is actually through crawling traffic. So not using your brake, but actually using your accelerator, accelerating to speed up and then lifting your foot off to slow, is you can actually regenerate your battery. We added about 12% to our battery just crawling through traffic yesterday. So it's a nice way to take that 25-mile range and maybe add 4 or 5 miles back to that through the day. So instead of getting 25 miles to a range, you'll actually get, maybe you'll get 28, 29, 30 miles. That's a full day of driving if you're doing short errands. Final thoughts. The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe is all Jeep and it's all Grand Cherokee. It's everything capable on the outside that we want and need. It's everything luxurious and pampering on the inside that makes us feel great. If what you want is to be off the grid, out of the city, in a place like this where there's nothing but vultures and rattlesnakes around you and a few cactuses and some hills to climb, well, there isn't a better way to go than the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe.